ripping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all. That sounds like a party just about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smokin' and Toastin'. It's show number 463, and I have a huge confession to make right at the top. You remember, was about, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago when you had to pass me a note to say that I was covering stuff we'd covered the show before.
Previous show.
Yeah, and that note, I think the note may still be here somewhere. Well, last week I decided to even things out a little bit, and I did the opposite. We never talked about what the title of the show was. Oh. So the title of the show was bartenders had been polled and had great whiskeys for gift giving. And so we will try to get to that today because we're going to go into the larger banner of what to give the people you really like for Christmas. And because this is an important, this is one of the last shows before Christmas, you've still got a little time to shop. You're going to be able to go out and not only maybe pick up some of these whiskeys and some of these other gift ideas we'll give you, but you're going to have an opportunity to get some of the best cigar accessories that you and I have ever tried. Yes. And we're thrilled to have the inventor and the man behind them on with us today via Zoom, Mr. Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool. Rod, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I really have been looking forward to this.
And as we said right before we went on the air, that's clearly lets us know you've not had an opportunity to watch previous episodes of the show before. So we're...
Oh, no, I watch it regularly when I'm having a hard time sleeping at night.
Okay, that's good. We also recommend it, by the way, if you need just some good background for, like, sexy time, if
just turn the lights down, put us on in the background.
Sort of a mood-creating thing, That's how we roll here at Smokin' and Toastin'. Well, I want to get right into talking with Rod, who I understand, by the way, is a doctor, so we should be addressing you as Dr. Kurthy, shouldn't we?
No.
Are you a dentist though, right?
I'm a dentist and dental surgery.
Dental surgery, okay. And I understand that the PerfecDraw cigar tool, which is my favorite of your inventions, may not be the most substantial or consequential of your inventions. Have you invented things in the dentistry space?
Oh yes, yeah. I've been in research and development as a scientist since 1976.
Okay.
Which other than the old folks like me watching, many of them might not have even been born back then.
I think you might be surprised, but
I was born in 1976.
Yeah, see, there you go. There you go.
All right.
In 1976.
So are there things that you've invented that we might find in my dentist's office or in a dental surgeon's bag of goodies?
Absolutely. I've been involved in most areas of dentistry. So many researchers, they have a particular field of expertise that they're looking at.
Right.
That's the way I've done it. My goal was never to be a research scientist. My goal was to be the best dentist that I possibly could. And so whenever the way it's worked is whenever I've had a patient, and of course this all started before I was a dentist, before I had graduated and things like that. But whenever I'd have a patient come in, and while treating them or thinking about treating them, it would cross my mind that, gee, there's just not enough knowledge about this condition out there. None of the dental products out there really fit this case well enough, or there's no instrument that's exactly perfect for that, or a particular treatment procedure. I would set about learning about that and try and figure out everything I could about the problem. And I was telling Terry the other day, and I'll use my George Patton analogy. A lot of researchers, they come across a problem, and they just start trying to fix it.
Right.
Well, let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this.
Throwing stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah. And so those out there that are old enough to remember or know anything about World War II, probably the most famous general we had out there, or they called him Old Blood and Guts, was General George Patton. And he was mainly a tank commander, but infantry, etc. And his arch rival, the top general of that type in Germany, was Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, who our troops today still have pictures of him on the wall, etc., because he was such a brilliant tactician. Well, Rommel had been teaching at the military academy in Germany before the war, and he had written a book titled, I believe, Battlefield Tactics. So in North Africa, when Patton had his troops and the Sherman tanks, now, we in dealing with cigars, we're using butane. We're not typically using regular lighters with lighter fluid like Ronson.
Right, yeah.
Fluid in it. But I'm sure most people here have heard the term Ronson. It's a lighter fluid. Well, back then it was a popular lighter fluid. And the soldiers nicknamed the Sherman tank the Ronson. And that was because if it got hit once, it was
boom,
a ball of flame.
Okay.
Whereas the Germans had the Panzer tank, which was a formidable tank.
Yes.
And could kick the crap out of the Sherman tank. And so when Rommel's troops came against Patton's troops, Rommel should have kicked our butt. But Patton's troops won. And in the movie, it showed this, and this was based on historical fact. When Patton was overseeing the carnage and all the dead bodies and the burning tanks and everything, he raised his fist in the air and he said, "Rommel, you magnificent son of a bitch, I read your book." And he did. He credited having mastered Rommel's book with winning that battle, because he said he knew what Rommel was going to do before he ever did it.
Cool.
And I subscribe to exactly the same philosophy in research. Like I say, too many people find a problem and then start trying to find solutions. Well, the first thing you've got to do, you have to really, really get to know the problem. And in the medical and dental field, you got to know it down to the molecular level.
So to take this to this PerfecDraw cigar tool, which is easily my favorite tool of this type. And I've had other ones that were like the corkscrew looking one. The one that actually worked best for me, take that out, Ian, and show the camera what the front end of that looks like. Prior to getting this, the thing that actually worked best for me was an ice pick. I would drive an ice pick through the center of a cigar.
That's a little brutal.
It is, and you can really mess up the cigar. You got to be super careful. But what none of those things did was to pull the clog out when they went into the part of the cigar that was kind of stuck.
So
right?
first thing, like, this tool seems so simple, but I have to tell you, like, with an eye for detail, just the way it goes together, how well the threads match up, how nice the case is on it, how the detail that you made this hex while this is round, so it's easy to get a grip on. Like, all the little details on here are just amazing. And then you have the punch itself, the way the poke itself,
the way that serration there, whatever,
and you have
call
it
that
barbed
works.
on the end, so you have a arrow tip and then barbs right behind it, so you can drive it in. You can twist it to make the hole bigger. You can twist on your way out or pull straight out. you get all these different things happening to help clear that clog or open up that draw. It's pretty amazing.
And I've had some cigars I've paid a decent amount of money for that just, I'm so big on the open draw, having a more open
Struggling
draw.
with the draw.
And
yeah,
sometimes, even though the cigar's drawing okay, it's not drawing how I like it. And so I'll use the Perfect Cigar, the PerfecDraw tool to be able to open it up to my level of what's comfortable for me when I'm smoking. And so I use it actually quite frequently, even on cigars that were smokable, but wouldn't have been as enjoyable for me if they weren't opened up a little bit more. And because I'm sorry, go ahead.
The way I like to think of it is, when you get together with 3 or 4 of your friends and you're cutting your cigars and lighting them, etc., every once in a while, not very often, but every once in a while, one of you will say, "Oh, wow, what a great draw." Well, you just found your own perfect draw.
Right, what works for you.
It's like I like my steak cooked medium rare plus, and everybody likes it different. There's no right or wrong, and some people like more resistance on their draw on the cigar, and some people like it more open, and some people like it wide open, like sucking through a straw. It's just, and again, there's no right or wrong. And the thing is that if you think back, every time you've had a situation where you've cut it and you get a little bit startled going, "Wow, what a good draw," like you're surprised because it doesn't normally happen like that. That cigar you end up enjoying more than you would have.
Agreed.
If that draw wasn't exactly like that. And that is the main reason I created the PerfecDraw. In the beginning, when I started, it was just to be able to get some air through a brick, a Cuban Monte Cristo number 2, when with a tapered tip. When I cut it, it was like a brick. But then I realized, I figured out that, geez, I'm not using this just on plugged or super tight cigars. I would go in there and take that cigar with a, quote, good draw and turn it into my, wow, what a great draw.
Right, and that's what I was getting at, that I've particularly
just allows me to enjoy the cigar to that level every cigar I smoke.
Absolutely. All right, we want to talk about that some more. We also want to talk about some of your other accessories, because when you sent us kind of a little care package of goodies, I had no idea you made some of these other things, and we have both found them to be just absolutely awesome. So we want to get to a little bit of that. We want to talk a little bit more about how the PerfecDraw cigar tool works and why it's different from some of the others. We also have some tasting, because that's what we like to do on the show. We'll be tasting some beers today from New Magnolia Brewing Company in Houston, Texas. Their Amber Lager. It is a Czech-style lager. We'll be getting to that on the show. And Sierra Nevada has a new variation on their Hazy Little Thing, or their, what is it? What was the original Hazy Little Thing? They've got a new one that's called Peachy Little Thing. It's another hazy IPA in the series. So we'll get to that. And then from LKuhnhenn Brewing Company, I don't think we've had these guys on before.
Doesn't sound familiar.
They're out of Providence, Rhode Island. We'll be trying their 4D 2024 Gingerbread Man Old Ale. If that,
I like old ales.
If you can say all of that, we'll be getting to that. And I believe it comes in just over 13%. So I know you'll be looking forward to having some of that floating down the river. And finally, from I have written down here, it's Jalisco, Mexico, but that was from last week. My bad. We are going to be trying a single malt Welsh whiskey. It's the Penderyn Myth.
Penderyn.
Yeah, on the program today. So looking forward to all of that. We'll talk about cigars, and we'll get to drinking news and all of the favorite segments on the show coming up. And, of course, our guest is Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool. We'll be right back at Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Show number 463 today, and our guest is Mr. Rod Kurthy, or Dr. Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool. We'll talk a little bit more about that and his other accessories here, which are perfect for holiday gift-giving in just a few moments. But first of all, it's time for the beverage of mystery, or as we, kind of more appropriately like to refer to it,
The beverage of mystery.
I always sound better if I have echo on my voice. I've noticed that. It just makes me sound authoritative. Beverage of Mystery is where one of us brings in a beverage of some kind. Sometimes it's a seltzer, sometimes it's a cider, sometimes it's Malort, sometimes it's a beer, and we just have to sample it and see what we think of it. The only person, until the reveal is done, that knows what the Beverage of Mystery is the person what brung it. Today, that is me, and our Beverage of Mystery is a darker-looking one than usual.
It looks like beer.
Yeah,
but it smells like
peach or fruity
berries. It smells
it smells kind of like fruitcake, doesn't
fruity.
it?
It's very fruity.
Kind of like that
fruity.
dried fruitcake vibe to it. Yeah, it's definitely got a big nose, almost like I'm almost getting Tang, the astronaut drink, on the
no, it tastes
on the nose.
It tastes like that. Yeah, I mean it smells like that. It does not taste like that.
No, it doesn't.
It is just completely changing.
You're right.
It's faking you out.
You're right. The nose and the
What a
actual
fake out.
taste on the palate are completely and totally different.
it's so bitter.
Yeah, it is not really great.
And it's got a little bit of that almost like pretzel yeast. You know what I'm talking about? Like the dust on the outside of a pretzel.
I was really like hoping for it when
This
on
does
the
not
nose.
come together well.
I kind of agree. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Was that a
I do
beverage
not
of mystery
like it.
in your pocket, or are you happy to be here?
Well, I'm very happy to be here. But yes, there is a beverage of mystery.
You remember the commercial
in my
years ago,
pocket.
the bitter beer face commercial?
Yeah.
That's what this does.
Well, this is a Shiner Holiday Cheer.
Why?
It's made
Bitter.
You mentioned peaches.
Yes.
It's made with peaches and pecans.
Oh, okay. Well, I got the
So,
peaches and pecans then, right?
I love Shiners and Shiners beers for the most part. I've never been a fan of this one. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people, that bitter, it's astringent, it's that pecan. It's like
Right, it's like the edge.
it's like pecan shell.
Right. If you're ever eating a pecan and you haven't gotten all the shell
Yeah.
out of the middle, and you get that flavor, that's kind of what
I feel
that
like
is
if
in
they
there.
took the bitter away, it would be good.
I think you're right. If it had a little bit of the sweetness that it kind of
Yes.
promises on the nose,
Yes.
I think it would be better. Fortunately, it's cold and I will drink it. But yeah, I'm not.
It's
push
Shiner.
that
I
one to
feel
the side.
I feel
I don't think-
obligated, but no.
It's certainly not the worst beverage of mystery that we've had, and I'll just let our listeners in on a little thing. I've been punking the guys today with the remaining beers from the beverage of mystery that we had a couple of
Yes.
months ago when I got some Michelob Ultra Zero, which is neither alcoholic nor tasty, and but I could only find it in a 12-pack. I wanted to do it for the beverage of mystery, so I bought a 12-pack of this, and 11 of those beers are still in the refrigerator here at the
no, I
studio.
thought you said one was gone. One extra.
Actually,
so it's
you're
10?
right. Somebody took one,
Yeah.
but they didn't return for another. So there's 10 of
They
them
had
left.
to like rinse something
Well,
off,
your
and the
math
water
is
was
actually off because you did that to us twice.
Oh, that's
so then
true.
there were 10 left.
That's true.
And now there are 9.
Now there
That's a
now
mystery.
there- now there are 9.
This is just like the beginning of every Scooby-Doo.
And I would have gotten away with giving you Michelob Ultra Zero too if it wasn't for those bratty kids. I just want to mention, by the way, that before we get back into talking about the cigar tool and accessories, I just wanted to mention that I'm a big fan of Taylor Sheridan's TV show Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. It's a great show.
See, I want to see that now.
It's a great show. But what was really interesting to me, it's all these like roughneck oil guys basically in like the Midland, Odessa, Texas area, and they're out there working on the rigs. And I mean, this is the definition of hard labor, right? Guys out there really, really working, back-breaking, heat, sweat. They're covered with filth. And then at the end of the day, when they gathered like in the bar or something, they were all drinking Michelob Ultras. And I thought, well, this is clearly product placement because there's no way that the oil field guys are going in
So
all
this
worried
is a
about
current day thing. I thought it was like, for some reason, I thought it was set back a few years.
No,
but
it's set in the present.
Okay,
It's set in the
That
present.
place is crazy. When I and my wife got married, it was 2015. When we got married, we had our honeymoon in Vegas, and our flight had a layover in Midland. Mm-hmm. It was an absolute packed flight, not a seat on the flight left. We get to Midland, everyone gets off. Literally, the flight from Midland to Vegas was like 7 people on the plane. It was crazy.
Well, here's what's interesting about the Michelob Ultra on Landman. Season 1 ends. They come into season 2. It's a few episodes in now. And apparently the product placement deal changed between seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Because there's actually a scene in one of the episodes I just watched where Billy Bob Thornton's character orders a Michelob Ultra, and instead they bring him a Miller Lite.
Oh.
And he drinks it and goes, "That's pretty good. That's tasty." And I will say this, as somebody that, you know, didn't discover craft beer until I was a little bit older. If you've been drinking Michelob Ultra and you try a Miller Lite, it's like, it's like there's so much flavor here. Because Miller Lite is as mass
But
produced
I
beers
have a
go.
cousin. He lives in North Texas, about 18 miles from Oklahoma. He's a farmer. He does the regular, and he's also the county commissioner because that's how big the county is. It's great. And anyway, he always snaps me pictures, and they're always drinking Michelob Ultra.
Well, okay.
Always.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. So this segment got so far off the rails talking about Michelob Ultra that we have no time left to talk to Rod Kurthy. So, Rod, we'll have you on at the beginning of the next segment. I promise.
Okay.
Thank you for waiting through our ridiculousness. It's Smoking and Toasting. We're all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, and accessories and goodies that you can buy your friends for Christmas. We'll get to more of that coming up. Nice. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting, show number 463, where we're talking about what to give the people you really like for Christmas. And one of the reasons to give like gifts that, you know, you think that they will really love is that hopefully they'll reciprocate. Like, I haven't even given Ian his Christmas gift yet, and it's really cool. I can't wait for you to see it. But you gifted me today with a really...
Yes,
Are
Santa
you
came
kidding
early.
me? Colonel E.H. Taylor's small batch bottled in bond? Are you kidding me?
I know, and you gave me a
what a gift.
Michelob Ultra Zero.
And meet the
But-
Elijah Craig single barrel. I mean, Santa came early this year.
I just wanted
Thank
to
you,
mention,
Ian.
by the way, I not only have a Michelob Ultra Zero for you, I have 9 of them. And you only
until
got me,
they're gone,
you only
we're
got me
screwed.
One whiskey, I get it
one
now.
thing, and I got you 9. So what does that tell us? Dr. Rod Kurthy is with us on the program today. He's the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool. And Ian, I wonder, would you get that back out? Because I want
This
people
thing
to
is
on
brilliant.
camera to look at the end of it. And Rod, can you tell us what was it when you designed this? Obviously, there were other tools out there on the market. But at least in my experience, they weren't really cutting it. And you came up with this idea for how the end of this is
Barbed.
done. Yeah, how it's carved. Thank you. And what was your thinking behind that, and why this works so much better than the other cigar tools that I've tried? Oh, we got to have his volume up,
Oh,
Terry. Do
sorry,
we have
there you
it? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doug.
Okay, so first of all, I wanted to be sure to do no harm to the cigar.
Good man.
And so I kept it as thin as I possibly could, where it would still have some effect. And I wanted to have it just be able to glide into the cigar. So you notice how sharp that tip is.
It's
It's
super sharp.
very
I've
sharp.
poked myself
Do not-
with it before.
Do
It's
not
like,
stick
ouch.
it into your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you'll also notice that it's flattened on both sides. Mm-hmm. So as you twist it, it kind of chews up the tobacco in front of it as you're going in slowly, twisting it, so it doesn't push the tobacco aside.
Right, it doesn't just
I mean,
divide it.
Yeah, if you think about it, if the cigar is already overpacked, and that's typically, you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, the reason that the draw is going to be tight is because whoever is rolling it twisted the tobacco." Well, I'm sure that does happen sometimes, but can you see someone who is rolling cigars all the time, saying, I'm gonna screw this guy, I'm gonna twist it? Well, it just doesn't make any sense. These people are professionals, and so what the problem is, because cigar leaves are not uniform.
Right, they're a natural
Different
product.
areas, et cetera. So as you roll it, you're not going to have a uniform amount of tobacco. And so you can have places in your cigar that are really tightly packed. very oftentimes it's around where the cigar band is for some reason. Or you might have someone who ate 2 bowls of Wheaties in the morning before they came to work instead of 1. And so now they're squeezing that tobacco even firmer. So now maybe the cigar is tightly packed throughout. Well, the more tightly packed the cigar is, the tobacco is in there, the more difficult it's going to be to get the air coming through.
Right.
So I made the tip really sharp and flattened. So, if it's tight and you push a hole in there and push it out even more, you're going to split your wrapper.
Right. That's why I said arrowhead earlier when I was describing it. Looks more like an arrowhead instead of the end of a pin or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then what I wanted to do is, first and foremost, I wanted to bring out portions of tobacco. But I wanted it to be very controlled. You don't want to screw in there and then bring out half the tobacco with you.
Sure, yeah. If you bring out like half a leaf, you're going to mess the whole thing up.
Exactly. So the blades are at a 30-degree angle. The edge, your typical chef's knife in the United States and in Europe is a 40-degree edge.
Okay.
20-degree bevel on each side. These are 30-degree, so they're sharper.
They're even sharper, yeah.
They're designed to cut tobacco and pull it out. But if you notice, you have 3 longitudinal channels cut through up there, through those blades. And those end up with a sharp 90-degree angle. Well, a sharp 90-degree angle will grab things, but it's not going to cut it. So the whole idea is for the blades to be cutting and therefore removing a little bit of tobacco. But the 90-degree channels in there with sharp edges are meant to grab onto the tobacco, because what I didn't want to do is just drill a hole with an open hole.
That's like when I use the ice pick.
Yeah, when you're smoking, the air is going to go through that hole. We don't want the air to go through the hole. We want it to
pull
go
through the tobacco.
And so the blades will actually cut parts of the tobacco, and the channels that have the 90-degree sharp edges will pull on the rest of the tobacco to help bring it in a little bit. And then as you smoke, as the humidity, because remember, you have tobacco, which you're going to have at 65, 69 degrees relative humidity. As that red cherry hits it, you're going to get steam. So steam is going to be drawn up, and it's going to be absorbed by the rest of the tobacco. And then as you're smoking, that furthers the closure of that hole, so that air continues going through the tobacco and not just up a hole.
Now,
those were the things in my mind.
What you've described in your thought process is pretty intricate. Like, you really thought this through. This isn't just a poke a hole in the cigar type cigar tool.
You're not trying to stick a straw hole down the middle of a cigar.
So
and so by that, those right angles you're talking about, those 90-degree angles, pulling some tobacco or snagging some tobacco back, it's almost like as you pull the tool back out, it's closing the hole slightly.
Exactly.
So that you're still getting draw from it.
It's really kind of like a surgeon's tool, which makes sense since you're like in the dentistry field. Like, I'm sure you've designed tools and things for dentistry that were every bit as intricate or even more so. And when I first began to understand what this is all about, I thought, well, this is going to be expensive. This is a piece of, like, quantum machinery here. And the actual fact is, it's not. It's very affordable. What does the PerfecDraw cigar tool, what does it cost someone if they want to buy one of these or give it as a gift?
$29.95.
I mean, that's amazing.
$29.95, and it's beautiful.
And let me just say, it has already paid for itself in cigars that I might have discarded before I finished them.
Oh, absolutely.
And so it's one of those gifts that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I like tools, and I like it when you pick up a tool and you go, that feels solid. It feels really nice in the hand.
For something small and super detailed on a smaller level, it's got a certain heft to it. And
it's funny because I have a lighter that has it's a Vsol lighter, and they're fantastic lighters. But it has, one side of it has a poke that you can use, but it's not designed like this. So it's the traditional poke, and you can, poke a hole in it, but it's not the same thing. It's a completely different thing. It's like I don't even know how to describe. It's like the difference between someone with a pocket knife and someone with a surgeon's tool. You know?
Yeah. No, that's 100% right. All right, we want to get back to this a little bit more, but we have a beer to taste in this segment, and it's been poured and sitting here calling my name, so I wanted to make sure that we had a chance to get to this. Ian, this is the Czech-style lager. Yeah, I knew it was saying something. It's just called Amber Lager. It's a Czech-style lager from New Magnolia Brewing Company in Houston, which is a really, really fine little brewery. And I'm wondering what you think about
I've had
this
before.
Since I can see
lovely.
you've already started your research there.
It's an absolutely lovely beer. And it's got a little bit of bitter to it in the best possible way.
Best possible way, yes.
It's got such a nice crisp finish to it, and it's malty.
Yeah, it's got real malt kind of in the middle of the
And there's
palate,
almost a tobacco-y note to it as well.
which ought to make this really
That I really enjoy.
a good
It's such
pairing
an
with a
interesting-
cigar.
It's such an interesting beer. And this is made right over in the Heights. This brewery is just a few blocks from Eureka Heights
Right.
here in Houston. So if you're ever in the area, you
Pub
can hit
crawl.
up both pretty close to each other, right?
That's right. I got to tell you, this beer to me seems almost perfectly made to go with a cigar. And as somebody that's a fan of IPAs, I love them. They're probably my favorite style. But IPAs very seldom tend to be good matches for cigars. There's just something about the hoppiness and the bitterness of IPAs that kind of sends the cigar flavor in the wrong direction. This, however, I think this would match like a single malt.
This is a Czech style lager, and it's got enough malt right up front, even though it does have a crispier finish than you sometimes will expect. But it's also very German in its flavor too. It doesn't feel
it's got a German
Americanized.
or
It doesn't feel-
Bavarian sort of a vibe
right.
to it. Yes,
It's got a very pretzel-y kind of note to it as well.
and I could. This seems to me like, even though it's very full flavored, it's still pretty crushable. Does it say on the can what the ABV is on this?
Yeah, it's coming in right at 5%.
Okay, so it's a good sort of mid-level ABV. Terry, how are we doing on time? Our clock isn't working in the studio today, so Terry's keeping time, and I don't know.
Yeah, this is long. We still got 4 minutes.
So okay, great. So yeah, I would say recommended highly, and another example of some of the great brewing that is going on in the city of Houston.
Yeah.
Austin has a tendency to overshadow other Texas cities when it comes to breweries, and I think that's just because of
Austin's just so popular
implied-
as a fun city. As
right.
a party
It's the
city.
implied hipness of Austin.
But you don't get the food choices.
No, and I'm going to tell
and
you
you
this:
don't get the brewery choices.
you do not get the brewery choices. There are some great breweries in Austin,
Absolutely.
but you know, Houston's much bigger, covers much bigger landmass, and has a lot more, I think, outstanding breweries in it. So I say all of this to say, if you're visiting Texas and you want to do a brewery tour, Houston should be your destination. I really believe
I mean,
that.
you have all the way from Galveston up to
to and I visited breweries.
Magnolia.
I've visited breweries in Dallas, Fort Worth. There's some great ones. San Antonio has a couple of great ones. Austin, obviously, but mile for mile, I'll take Houston at this point. I think we are the sort of Portland of the South when it comes to breweries. That's my thinking.
Well, and it covers so much area. I mean,
Just
I even consider Conroe a local brewery, like Southern Star, and there's a few others up in Conroe, but that's just an hour away. Of course, everything's an hour away in Houston,
But New Magnolia,
unless it's traffic time, and then it's 2 hours.
and then
away.
it's
Next
2 hours
door is
away.
an
That's
hour
right.
away. Yeah.
So Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool. Rod, where are you based out of? You said, I think you told me before the show, Southern California?
Yeah, Southern California, Orange County, pretty close to Newport Beach.
Nice. So I know from spending time in the L.A. area, there are some great breweries in California as well, and I enjoyed visiting a few of them and certainly consuming some of their products when I was there. It's just California, though, with the regulations and stuff on tobacco sales and on cigars. Ian is fond of saying that in California, you can smoke anywhere you want to, as long as it's not inside or outside.
That's right.
And that's kind of the zeitgeist.
Someone who really understands the situation.
Yeah, that's right. Do you find there's a lot of cigar aficionados or just fans of cigars there? Like there might be in other places where it's a little easier maybe to find a spot to smoke? Or is there a lot of frustrated smokers? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You guys have it very lucky in that cigar smoking is really intertwined, ingrained in what you do. I mean, look at all 463 shows
That's
discussing
right.
it.
That's a lot of cigars because we usually talk about at least one cigar a piece every show. So, and we'll get to that coming up as well. But yeah,
for myself, hey, my thing is dentistry. That's and I own a big company in the dental industry. So for me, I'm a cigar smoker who likes to smoke cigars, etc. I don't get out there to know as much, but I will tell you that in my mind, I picture other areas of the country being, I assume, so much easier to have a cigar. The very few places here in Southern California where you can go out with friends and have a cigar, after COVID, they're gone.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to have your buddies over to your house and have a cigar in your backyard or something like that, it's gotten very ridiculous. And when you're having a cigar, you're not just having a cigar. That's kind of the cigar is kind of the catalyst.
Absolutely.
For enjoying yourself and enjoying your friends, and it's not just the cigar; it's what the cigar does for you culturally.
Right.
Having a lot of it's all about relaxing.
We talk about
all week
this,
long, looking forward to having that cigar so I can have a good time. And then with all the stuff here in California, California is a wonderful place geographically. But in many respects, I wish I could live somewhere else.
I will just say the whole concept, I'm so big on this. We talk about it a lot. The missing piece of the puzzle with cigars are the health benefits. The fact that it calms you down, it lowers your blood pressure. At least that's what it does for me. It's a relaxation and a mindset that I have when I'm smoking a cigar that, I don't know, it puts me in a better place in so many different ways. So there's health benefits to it yet. I won't get back on that soapbox, but we will talk more about some of your cigar accessories coming up, and we'll find out what you had to smoke this week.
All right.
That's next. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Our guest today is Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool and a number of other really cool cigar accessories, which we'll get to in a moment. But speaking of cigars, Ian, I was wondering if you had the opportunity to smoke anything interesting this week.
I did. I actually got up a little bit early today, and I went out onto my patio, and because it's chilly, like 50 degrees outside, I lit up my little fire table.
Oh, nice.
And I sat out there, and I had the Man of War,
By the way,
War.
By the way, I may need to explain this because we have a Californian on the show. A fire table is this device that you can have like on your patio or in your yard, and you can light it, and it not only is a lovely decoration, but it gives off warmth.
Okay.
You may not have heard of those in Southern California.
Runs on propane.
Yeah. Propane and propane accessories.
Thank you. Thank you.
You knew I was going there,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I almost couldn't let it happen without finishing it.
So you went out this morning, lit up the fire table,
So I
and
lit up
what
the fire
did you
table. It
enjoy?
was a little chilly, and I sat down and I had the Man of War Dark Horse.
Oh, my goodness. You
So
started
the Man
the
of War
morning
Dark
with a big
Horse
one.
is a cigarillo, actually.
Yeah?
It's a 4x32. This comes in a tin of 10 cigars. Mm-hmm. And somebody gave this tin to me. They're like, I have more of these. I bought a bundle of them, and try this. And I was like, okay, because I'm always trying to look for a small cigar that doesn't suck,
when you don't have too much time,
Sometimes
but you really
the
want
small
something
cigars
good.
just aren't very good.
Right.
And so I went out, I lit this thing up. This has a San Andreas Maduro wrapper, Nicaraguan, and Brazilian filler. The appearance on this espresso brown, rough, rustic wrapper. It's not pretty. Sloppy-looking cap on it, uneven firmness, single band.
Okay.
It looks terrible.
Yeah. And you're not going to be able to use the PerfecDraw cigar tool on it either because
No,
it's too skinny,
small.
right?
So I used a clip. It had a medium draw on it, which was okay. I got rich earth, sweet cappuccino, and a sweet tingle on the lips. The initial light on this, bold and spicy earth and pepper. Sweet cappuccino follows with intense oak notes. Retrohale is peppery and sweet with oak. The first third of the cigar came in strong with baking chocolate and bitter coffee, leading in with earth and sweetness just behind, all on a bed of charred oak. Retrohale is peppery and sweet with charred oak, flaky ash, good burn. Proposed pairing on this, I'm thinking a stout.
Yeah.
You know, just a good traditional stout or a mezcal
Oh, nice.
for the spirit.
Something
because
smoky,
something's got a little smoke to it, a little fun to it. The second third of this drier earthiness with less sweetness is introduced. Intense oak and bitter coffee move forward. Retrohale is earthy and spicy with oak, flaky ash, perfect burn at this point. The last third of the cigar, progressively more earthy and oaky. Maybe a rich red wine or Bordeaux or Cab would even pair well with this, now that I'm really tasting the last part of this. Pleasant leather and wood on the lips. Retrohale is earthy and spicy with charred oak, flaky ash, perfect burn. So if you buy a single package of these, it's roughly $20. There's 10 of them in there.
Right.
It's $2 per cigar. I'm going to give it a 5
Yeah.
for a dog walker. This is pretty nice.
Right.
I would like to also point out that this is a 20-minute smoke time.
Okay.
Like this is a
right.
If you just want to get a cigar,
Sometimes that's good. You're just
Right.
sneaking in a 20-minute smoke before you head out or
I did
whatever.
find them pretty readily online, $75 for 50 of them.
Not bad.
At that price point, I'm going to give it a 6.
Wow. Okay. So our price to quality scale that we use when we talk about cigars, it's a 1 to 10 scale, but a 5 means you got exactly what you paid for. So if you're saying you rated it a 6 at that at the bulk price,
Yeah.
it means it's punching above its weight class.
That brings
a
it
little bit.
down to $1.50 per stick,
right,
and that's
all
a
right.
pretty nice stick for 20-minute smoke.
I want to tell you about my cigar that I smoked this week, and what I smoked was the AJ Fernandez New World Decenio Toro.
I've never heard of that guy.
Yeah. Now, you guys know I'm an AJ fanboy, and so I present to you now the ballad of an AJ Fernandez fanboy. AJ was a man who knew his damn tobacco, understood complexity. I'm a fanboy now, and that's the way it is, y'all. Don't like it? Then you can sue me. Of course, now I know that I use the rhyming style of the Beatles' Get Back and not the Ballad of John and Yoko. I'm sorry. I mean, Christ, you know it ain't easy. Thanks. I thought that one might fly over, but I appreciate you getting it.
there. I was thinking it might have been a little more Rocky Raccoonish.
Yeah, but listen, that's not important right now. What is the latest release from AJ Fernandez's own cigar company, the New World Decenio. I smoked the Toro size, a 6.5 by 54 box press beauty that I had some pretty high hopes for. Decenio is Spanish for decade, and it celebrates the New World line from AJ's factory that is now officially 10 years old. The Decenio uses a dark San Andres wrapper leaf over premium Nicaraguan and Honduran long filler tobaccos, which is a recipe that's actually similar to his very popular San Latano Maduro blend. And the AJ San Latano Maduro is one of my all-time favorites, so again, high hopes. The pre-light sniff offered big earth notes, and the cold draw teased me with the promise of what was to come, leaving a tang on the tongue with a zesty note at the center of the earthy flavors. Based on what I'd picked up from the pre-light draw, I was expecting a Nicaraguan pepper blast when I lit the cigar. But instead, the first puffs were sublimely balanced with pepper nuance underlying the earth and toast and tea leaf that I was picking up. And then a few puffs in, here came the pepper. Not overwhelming, but certainly making its presence known. Almost a habanero-like pepper note. But the complexity and nuance from the very beginning were cranking things up a notch for AJ's cigars, which I've always found to be beautifully complex. By the second third, espresso beans, gritty cocoa, toasty charred wood in the best possible way, and a bit of minerality all swirled around on my palate in a grand dance of flavors. And, of course, pepper. Final third saw the pepper back off just a bit and the complexity ramp itself up even more. This cigar was like a chef-prepared meal in a lot of ways.
With different courses even.
Crazy, delicious flavors dancing with each other on the palate. And when it was done, I wanted more. Because anytime you go get a really good chef-prepared meal, the only thing is the quantities are usually a little small. Right?
Gotta leave you wanting more.
Can we have more? Construction was spot on, which I'm still not sure how his rollers accomplish with such a severe box press, but they did. Burn was even. The draw was absolutely perfect. Did not need my PerfecDraw cigar tool. Strength was medium to full, a little bit less than the basic New World line, but right in my sweet spot. I expected to like the New World Decenio, but it surpassed even what I was expecting. This was a delicious combo of notes and flavors that reminded me of why I love smoking cigars in the first place. I'm convinced that the secret to AJ's blending success is that he actually grows some of the most complex and interesting tobacco in the entire industry, and certainly he used that in the blending of this cigar. My favorite AJ blend, I've always been partial to the Bella Artez.
Ooh, that's a good cigar.
Especially the Maduro, and the San Latano line is a regular go-to. But the Decenio is right up there, maybe edges them out by just a leaf. I would have to smoke them back-to-back to make a final decision, but in a couple of words, this cigar rocks.
Challenge accepted.
AJ Fernandez New World Decenio Toro is a $13 to $14 cigar, and it is worth every penny. In fact, this is the cigar that all others in this price range should be measured against. I'd even go so far as to say that this one is as good as or better than most $20 cigars I've ever smoked. Price to quality at $14 a stick, a 6.5. Get back, Loretta.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you go. It was a monster.
High praise.
And we'll be right back with more on the PerfecDraw cigar tool and the other accessories. I promise we will. We'll do that next at Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Smoking and Toasting into hour number 2 of this week's broadcast. We're heard all over the country on great radio stations everywhere. And, of course, we're available on all the major podcast platforms and on YouTube, where apparently only a couple of people watch us. But that's okay, because that's where I watch the show, is on YouTube. So I'm just glad we're there for me. Our guest is Rod Kurthy, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool and a number of other really cool cigar accessories. And I just wanted to mention, Rod, because one of the things we like to say here on this show is that Smoking and Toasting directly influences sales. And the reason we know that is because often we'll sample like a beer or maybe a whiskey or tequila or something, and then on the way home from the show, one of us will stop and buy more. So we know that sales are directly influenced by that. But I wanted to tell you, because obviously you have interacted with and maybe even advertised on some different places. I want to tell you how I found out about the PerfecDraw cigar tool, and it was from reading cigar reviews by the Catman online.
Sure, okay.
And he talks about his, whenever he needs to open a cigar up a little more, he talks about it. And I was like, well, I've tried some of these cigar pokers and mixed results. Let me check this out. So I went and checked out the PerfecDraw cigar tool, bought one, and became an instant fan. So I just wanted to give a shout out to if you did any advertising or provided him with any cool freebie things or whatever, that was well done, because you sold one to me based on that. So
sold to you because you bought me one.
Catman and I, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We are known each other forever.
Oh.
We both grew up in Long Beach, California.
Okay.
Went to high school in California, graduated the same year. Went to the same places. I worked at places that he frequented, etc. We went to different high schools. But other than that, we're two brothers from another mother.
Well, I just want to mention, if anybody wants to look him up, it's Cigar Reviews by the Catman, and it's Katman if you're looking for it. And what's interesting, what I find particularly interesting about him, is that he was in a somewhat successful 70s rock and roll band. And they opened for, some of the biggest names in music, and had a few, minor hits of their own. And what I love about his cigar reviews is in between telling you about, as you're reading them online, the particular cigar, he'll then break into a story from his rock and roll days, and it's just awesome. So I love reading his reviews. But Terry, remind me after the show, we should try to get Catman on as a guest. I think he'd be a
You
terrific.
absolutely should.
That would be super fun.
I think he'd be a terrific guest. But one of the things that we found out when you sent us a little collection of goodies from your company is that it's about more than just the PerfecDraw cigar tool. And Ian already has proclaimed your products to be his favorite in cigar accessory land. So
let's talk about a few of these things.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I love this little device. This
I thought that was just a cigar holder, right?
When you pull it
put
out
your
of the
cigar
case,
on.
it looks like a cigar holder. It's made out of aluminum, very beautifully machined aluminum. Mm-hmm. And it's this little cradle that you set down.
And you set your cigar in
Set your cigar on. You also have it on the crossways, so you can set it down like this. You can kind of kick it back.
You mean the perfect punch and stand?
Yeah.
And then it pops open.
And I love this. So
And you have 3 different punch sizes in there.
So I just want to mention this. I love that it's got that big. I don't have any other punches that size.
No, that's enormous.
Anywhere. And so if you're smoking like a nub or something that's a really huge, one of the ones you smoke floating down the river, I mean, that's a punch that will work for that.
So
Yeah?
this is not only that cool, but you also have these little parts sticking up, so that whenever you punch a cigar, you have that plug in the hole of the punch, and then as you close it, it just pops that right out.
Love that. Yeah.
That's a beautiful detail. But on top of that, this is the freaking sharpest punch I've ever used in my life. It cuts like butter into anything.
This is a man who makes dental tools and uses them. So, like, he understands that having a dull cigar punch is like, it's just like beating the heck out of your cigar.
And then you fold it in half, and you don't have to worry about how sharp it is because there's a nice little magnet that just keeps it.
Right. You're not going to cut
Keeps
yourself
it like
out.
this. If it stays like this, you don't have to worry about it if you put it in your pocket. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. This thing is amazing. I love it.
And so also tell me about these cases, because these cases arrived and you immediately proclaimed them to be your favorite cases, your favorite travel cases.
Okay, so the cigar case.
Like the next show, I found you holding one of those
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah.
This thing has hardly left my side since I got it. This is a 3-finger plastic case. So at first glance, you just think, oh, it's another 3-finger plastic slip case. Well, here's the thing. First off, look at the size of this cigar.
Yeah, that's a big ring gauge.
This is a 54 by 6.
Yeah. And it just
No
disappears.
problem.
Okay, so I have so many cases that would not hold that
Oh,
cigar.
100%.
It's too wide.
Would not hold it. So it'll hold longer ones as well. It slips together so nicely. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to worry about it. It's a hard case, so you put it right in your pocket.
And
right?
there's room for a Boveda pack in there to keep them.
But yes, then you go one level further, and you made this little spot inside here where the Boveda pack fits inside this.
Yeah.
And so you can leave this with your cigars in it. You don't have to worry about them drying out. They're in a little vault all their own.
I love this.
And so if I leave this in my car for a couple days, I'm not going, oh, those cigars might get a little dry. I don't have to worry about it. I literally will just toss this in the glove box and then put it in my pocket when I'm going in somewhere in case
And
I have
then
a chance
you've
to smoke
got
a cigar.
cigars with you in case you have an opportunity to smoke one.
So it's not only just a case, it's a storage space. And then, but wait, there's more.
Oh, I was so thrilled to see this because
There's a 5-finger
sometimes
version
you
of the same
need
thing.
more. Think about this: if you and I are going out to smoke a cigar, right? And I go, oh, hey, I brought you a cigar. So I pull out a cigar for you out of a 3-finger case, and I pull out one for myself, and we're smoking, and we're having a good time. We decide to go for another one. Only one of us has a cigar coming for round 2.
Right.
Whereas with this, you're good to
And
go.
so this one has not stuck with me like the other one because it doesn't fit in my pocket. However, what a nice and beautiful slim profile to like stick in your bag, stick in your pack,
I love it.
conceal carry, whatever you want to do with it.
So, did you have a specific? I know with the PerfecDraw, you had a specific thing you were trying to address. Were these, to address a specific issue with cigar cases as well?
Well, it was to address a few specific things. Just like you were talking about, I was so frustrated I tend to like sometimes like a 60 ring, like a Gordo type of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing. Sometimes I like to have a double Corona, like a Lusitanius or something like that. And the cases out there just wouldn't hold that diameter.
Sure.
They'd hold up to a 52, and they wouldn't hold the length. So I wanted to have something that would do that. Now the other thing is, and again, I keep going back. I think of everything on a scientific level. When we have when we get a wooden humidor, we have to season it, right? Well, why is that? Well, it's because wood is something called hygroscopic. It means it absorbs moisture from the air aggressively. So if you were to put your 84% Boveda pack in there to season it, or even a bowl of water or whatever in your humidor, and you also at the same time put some cigars in, the cigars would still dry out because the wood would absorb all the moisture from coming from the Boveda pack, but also from the cigar. And leather is also hygroscopic. So I'm thinking to myself, these leather cases,
Leather cigar cases,
especially if there's wood in there, and yeah, if you're keeping your cigar in the cello, that protects it a little bit, but cellophane breathes, so you're going to be losing humidity out of there also. But especially if you're putting your cigar in naked in there, well, those cases are going to start absorbing moisture from your cigar immediately.
Yeah.
And if you, in the morning, you put cigars into your case. You got to do that because you couldn't leave them in there before, because they would dry out. Now you take that to work with you, and because you're going to meet your buddies at the end of the day after working. Well, now after all those hours of it drying out, if you're someone like me who's really sensitive to the humidity of your cigar, you notice the difference, and it just really bugged me. So what I wanted to do, it's funny because this right here, what this is made out of is something I have called polyrigidine. It's a tripolymer that I created for when I created some sophisticated dental surgical instruments. And
So it's not just plastic.
no, it's not just plastic, and it's extremely durable. It's the molecular design is such that it's really rigid, not only flexing it, but rotating. So in all of these ways, it's really, really flexible and durable. And the nice thing is, it's hydrophobic. In other words, unlike the wood that wants to absorb it, it wants to repel moisture. So any moisture given off by the Boveda pack that you have in here, or moisture that comes in your cigars, it's going to keep it.
Kind of reflects it back at
reflect
you.
it,
Yeah.
It's going to push it right back at you. And we found in our testing that if we put a Boveda pack in one of these and left it for a year without ever opening it, the Boveda pack would be still good after a year.
Wow.
But of course, that's not going to
awesome.
happen because you're opening and closing and opening and closing.
Right.
But that just gives you an idea at how stable this is.
How
So
well
my
it seals.
idea with this is to be able to bring any size cigar that you happen to like, length or diameter, and be able to have those cigars in there wherever you want, in your drawer at work, whatever, so that at a moment's notice, boom, you can grab it, and boom, you know that your cigars have been in a humidifier, in a humidor.
Yeah,
That
I
is
love it.
time.
I love it. And what do approximately do those retail for? The three fingers.
This is outrageous.
And the 5 finger. What is this going to set me back?
Wow. This is so funny because I'm the inventor. I don't set the prices, but I think that it's right around 18 or 19 for the 3.
Oh my
Can
gosh.
you believe that?
20,
Under
21 for the
20
5.
bucks?
I've spent
That's
40 and 50,
unbelievable.
and I love how he talks about the wood and the leather being hydroscopic. Because one of my cases that I use that's really, really pretty, it's a really pretty case. It's leather over wood, and you zip up the leather, but there's a tray inside. You put a Boveda under it, and that Boveda lasts days.
Yeah, literally days. Yeah.
Like
I totally
and
get it.
I'm talking about the bigger Bovita, not the small
Not the
one that goes in
tiny
here,
one,
but
yeah.
it lasts days in that thing, and that's
Wow.
it.
Well-
so you can only trust cigars for a couple of days, whereas this, I don't even
That
have to
was
think
another
about it
thing
again.
that-
I just toss them in
Yeah,
there.
that was another thing that really caught my attention is because you see these people on Instagram, whatever, they'll have these beautiful leather cases and the cigars, not even in the cello, in there, and they'll have a Bovetta pack there,
Yeah.
as if that's going to do anything because the Bovetta packs give off moisture so slowly that leather is going to absorb anything given off by the Bovetta pack plus suck
Plus
it out
from
of
the
cigars. So
cigars,
it's like,
yeah.
I'm thinking whoever has that and then puts the Bovetta pack in their leather case laying there is not a scientist. That I can tell you.
Well, I'm not a
They're-
scientist, but I do think we should,
wishful thinking.
before the end of this segment, which I know is about to hit, we should be trying this IPA from Sierra Nevada. Now, these guys, basically, the Hazy little thing became their flagship beer, and they've made a lot of great
Remember
beers.
when we first
and a lot
tried
of
that on the show? We were
and
like, wow, this is
very
something.
impressed. So they branched out with it. They have one that's more an Imperial IPA. They have a number of different ones, but this one is the peachy little thing, and this is a seasonal that just came out. And I'm wondering, I like peach and IPA. I'm wondering what you think of this. You've already sampled.
I would not reach for this again. Not a big fan of the peachy.
Oh, I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think that's just a me thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's
not bad. I kind of like
I don't
it.
think it's
Yeah.
a bad beer. I just don't think I really like the peachy. I will say, on the peachy side of things, it's very authentically peach. It is like that little red area right next to the pit. It's got a little
got some
astringency
real-
and that kind of thing to it. But if I want a fruity beer, I think I'd just go Belgium.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to IPAs. I'm the IPA guy.
It's
this
drinkable.
Is
I'm still drinking
really freaking good. I just want to say that.
I like it.
Terry likes it. All right, we should have shipped some out to you there so we could could have you drink with us. And I apologize.
Yeah, what happened?
If you're ever in Houston, you are welcome on the show, and we'll have Ian bring all the beers. It'll
Fax
be
machine
wonderful.
was broken.
Yeah, as long as you like stuff that's all like 15% or more when Ian brings the beers. That's what it's like. So, all right, we got to take a break. We will be right back, and we're actually not far from drinking news, but you know what's even closer? The Penderyn Myth single malt Welsh whiskey is next. Smoking and toasting. Ooh, that was nice. That was nice. One of the things you should know, Rod Kurthy is, I guess, the inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool, is that here on Smoking and Toasting we do all of our own sound effects. So, yeah, and it's out of a desire for authenticity, but more specifically, it's because the company is too cheap to buy us a sound effects library. So.
I thought you were going to say it was our desire to try the spirits.
Well, it's that too. It's that too, and it's gonna make a sound.
It gives us street cred.
Yeah. So you know when it makes a sound. I don't know if you noticed this, Ian, but I specifically passed by sending this one to Terry because I saw the pour was bigger.
Oh, okay.
So I kept that one for myself.
Man, I underpoured myself.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you can fix that. Before we try this whiskey, I just wanted to ask you, my favorite thing you make is the cigar tool because it's just so perfect, no pun intended, for what it's intended to do. But one of my other favorite things that you make is this little hard case. I don't even know what to call this.
I'm
It's
starting
so
to get into
cool.
a little bit about the way your mind works, and I absolutely love it, okay? So now you have the perfect case. Mm-hmm. And you have these accessories. And, of course, you have a problem now. Where do you put the accessories?
If you're trying to carry them with you, right?
So you designed the perfect case, which is a hard shell, leather-ish looking
I
thing.
absolutely love this.
And
It just makes so much
just
sense.
zips up. It holds everything that you just have. Plus, it'll hold your lighter and a cutter if you want a cutter, and all those things right here. And then, because your brain can't stop there, you went, well, now I have two pieces I need to carry around, and that sucks. So then you came up with the perfect strap
Yeah.
to put the whole thing together. It's dizzying, really.
This makes
It's
way too much
fantastic.
sense. What are you thinking? No, seriously, this is such a. You can tell that this was designed by somebody who loves cigars, who loves having the convenience of having them with you at all times and having
Right.
the stuff that you need. Because there is a little bit, there's a learning curve when you first start with cigars, how to cut them, how to light them.
Well, it really is a
Yeah.
system at this point, though.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Right. And I can tell you, you go sit down at a cigar lounge and pull that baby out and unzip it and start, getting everything ready. You're going to get lots of jealous looks.
Lots of looks, yeah.
Yeah, lots of jealous looks because people look. Where can people find your PerfecDraw cigar tool? Which start with that because that's the one that'll change your cigar smoking life. But where can people find that and your other accessories?
Well, they can find it on our own website, which is The Perfect Smoke. Now, there's no T at the end of perfect, so it's PERFEC. So theperfectsmoke.com,
Okay.
or on Amazon, or
I think I
we
bought.
have
I think I bought my
hundreds
first one
and
on
hundreds
Amazon.
yeah, we have hundreds and hundreds of cigar shops, not only across the country but around the world, who carry our stuff. So it's very likely that your local cigar shop will have everything.
Now I know this. Your real job. You're a dentist and you make dental accessories and dental surgical accessories. And I know this is more of a hobby creation, as you said. But has this been a successful company for you? Is this something that is working out well?
Oh yeah, it's well. Yeah, the funny thing is that I started the company because I had created the first two things. The first thing was the PerfecDraw, and then right around the same time the Perfect Repair, because of some problems I was having, and I couldn't find it.
One of the
couldn't
things,
find a good glue out there. And,
one of the things Ian didn't mention is that was also in the little gift
Pectin.
pack that you sent us. Was this? This is sort of repair glue for cigars.
yeah.
So,
So
how would you use that? What would be the occasion to use that on your cigar?
So what that is you notice it's kind of thick. Mm-hmm. And there you notice that there's goo at the bottom that you have to shake it up really well.
Yeah, I noticed you have a little ball bearing in there, too. So when you start getting it nice and loose, you can hear that it's
we actually have two of them in there.
shaking
So
up.
anyway, the problems that I encountered, well, first of all, with that Monty number 2, the Cuban, back before I had created the PerfecDraw, I had to keep cutting off the taper tip, more and
Right, more. Yes, I've been there.
Then the damn wrapper would start to unravel, and no glue that I could find out there worked worth a damn, and you'd have to let it sit for a few hours to dry. The other thing is, cigars are fragile. And I don't care how careful you are, you're going to get a crack or a hole in them. And as you're smoking, you're just not getting enough smoke, and you find that crack or the hole, and you put your finger over it, and now you get it.
Yes.
Been there.
Well,
yeah.
anything out there on the market you paint on there, unless you left it for a couple hours to dry, it wouldn't seal that. So what I did is I researched what type of glue that the manufacturers use, and they each use a different slight glue. They're all a vegetable base, not pectin. A lot of people think
I was wrong then.
This pectin, but in my testing in pectin is terrible stuff. It thins out to almost nothing, and it's very fragile. It's not strong.
See how well thought out this stuff is?
Yeah,
He has.
I was just about to say. I'm so glad we had a scientist to figure all this out for us, because I'd have been like, pectin, yeah.
So anyway, but then even with the glue, if you have a crack or a hole, you go and puff, and it sucks the glue right in, so it doesn't stop it.
Right.
So then and this is still when I was just doing it for myself, then I decided to place some cellulose fibers in it. Now,
I would like to also point out that this is brilliant, because you don't notice that you have a leak in a cigar until you start smoking it.
Right.
Like 90% of the time, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so all plants are made of cellulose. Wood is cellulose.
Right.
And you know how they talk about we should eat a high fiber diet? Well, that's cellulose fibers.
Eat more wood.
And so I experimented with different cellulose fibers, and the ones that are in here are on average 60 microns long and 1 or 2 microns in diameter. So they're long, thin. And so as you shake that up, and when you dab it, not paint it, but dab it over an air leak, and then you gently puff on your cigar, all those fibers crisscross into a net and seal it.
Oh, like
that.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, just so that's where this came from, and it seals right away. So when you paint it on your cigar to glue down an unraveling wrapper or paint it over, at any rate, you're ready to smoke your cigar in 90 seconds.
I love that, and also it doesn't have like a flavor or a taste that it adds to the cigar.
I can't tell
which
you
is
how many
hugely
times
important.
I've been so frustrated with the leak that's kind of near where your finger goes.
Yeah.
Or right under the band, or you take the band off and you created a leak.
Yeah. Oh, I hate when that happens. Yeah.
How many times? And you gotta every time you pick it up to smoke it, you gotta make sure your finger's just right on it. I love that you designed something to eliminate that.
You know, I'll mention something else that I'm kind of in love with, and it's this Penderyn single malt Welsh whiskey called Myth. Ian poured this earlier, and I've been just kind of gently sipping it during this segment, and I have to say, wow, this is great.
So Penderyn is pretty outrageously good if you haven't had any before. The Penderyn Myth is really interesting because the nose on this is so fruity.
Well, and there's a lot of fruit on the palate too. It for a whiskey, I find it to be definitely higher on the fruit scale in terms of what you get taste wise. So we're running out of time in this segment. Drinking news is next. We'll talk more about the Penderyn. We'll talk more about the cigar accessories, and what a fun show. This is good. Would you be able, Rod, to join us every week? We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. And I'm not trying to just be cool with the music. I'm saying about this Penderyn single malt Welsh whiskey. Now, the Welsh are not necessarily known for whiskey, but it's another one of those foggy, cloudy, Scottish type British islands, and this is fantastic. Ian, how is this matured? Does it say?
Making it a myth. Each day, our unique copper skills are charged with the fermented malted barley wash. This is distilled in a pure single malt spirit, which is married with spring water from our own source before being filled into oak casks that are laid down to develop.
Okay. You would almost think it was done in like sherry casks because of the fruit flavors.
Penderyn Myth is matured in a range of selected ex-red wine, ex-bourbon casks made from American white oak.
I take him more seriously while he's holding the ukulele in the shot.
Oh, it's a thing. Thank you. Good night. This is really tasty. Like this is it's got that wonderful minerality on the finish, but the fruitiness is what makes it, I think, really stand out a little bit differently from some of the other
It's
single
fruity on
malts.
the nose, but it's so round and malty too. At the beginning, I love all the Penderyns I've had so far.
You can certainly pay. I think this was about $60. You can certainly pay more for a Penderyn than that if you want to
Yes.
if you want to get into some of the wealthier things. Me not being as wealthy, I went with this, but this feels like it was a great
You should ask the
investment.
company for a raise.
You think I haven't? And when I go in and ask for a raise, I come in, I'm prepared. I go, look, I do this segment on Smoking and Toasting called Drinking News. It's the most popular segment on the show.
Yeah.
And well, what is that about? Well, it's stories that sometimes, but not always, involve drinking, but are always best enjoyed if you've been drinking.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And so with that as the prelude, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. One of the best ones ever, by the way. That was
good. I like it.
That was spectacular. Well, I just want to say that holiday time means party time. And that, of course, means that we get to see the results of some people coming together to imbibe who are, how can I say this gently, not necessarily veterans at knowing how to hold their alcohol. So, in fact,
Noobs.
a recent one poll survey said that 56% of Americans
One poll survey.
have wondered at one time or another
They did that at the strip club down the road.
if they might be fired following their work holiday party. 56%. And the other 44%, I'm thinking they're lying. Seriously, though, some pretty messed up stuff happens from time to time at office parties, especially around the holidays. There was the office party at a bar in D.C. where a discussion about chest hair led to a group of male employees going shirtless and one of them setting his chest hair on fire as the result of a dare. That is an aroma that you will not soon forget.
Wow.
I can tell you.
That was taking it too far. And the lady that won, though.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
From online, there's Sapphire 77202, who had a little too much at their office party, and then, while standing in line for food at the buffet, passed gas so incredibly loudly that it has been described as the fart heard round the office.
You're not supposed to do that at the buffet line.
They dropped their plate and ran from the buffet and likely took a few sick days before reporting back to work again. Or there's Lisamon 429 on Reddit, who tells the story of a staff Christmas party that featured one of those rentable photo booths. You know, the ones where you get a strip of,
I rented one for my daughter's kids.
Okay, so you know about this. Several employees decided to take naked and inappropriate pictures in the privacy of the booth.
Oh, boy.
Because it's got a curtain, you can see
That
it
did
off.
not happen where we
And then they laughed when pocketing their amateur porn photo strips. The laughter stopped when an automatic photo upload of all the party pics got posted in the cloud the next day.
Did they not
For
realize?
the whole office to see.
Did they not realize that I got a copy of every photo that was taken in that booth?
That's what you call a December to remember. That's what that is. Yeah. But it was a masked burglar who had a party of one this year who may win the 2025 crown. And let me just say, this story has made the rounds.
National news.
When I first found it, my wife sent me the story. Terry sent me the story, which I always appreciate because I'm always looking for stories for drinking news, right? Since then, I've seen it on
send you this story.
Yeah, since then I've seen it on TV 3 or 4 times. So for whatever reason, this story went hugely viral. So if you've heard it before, I apologize, but we'll try to bring our own
Still
spin
funny
to
either
it.
way.
Yeah. It was a masked burglar who had a party of one this year that probably wins, especially considering how viral it's become, the 2025 crown. Employees at an ABC liquor store in Ashland, Virginia, came to work on Black Friday morning to find that their shop had been trashed. A ceiling tile was busted out. Bottles of whiskey were strewn about the aisles, and it was clear that someone had broken in and helped themselves to a little holiday bottle party.
Don't mind if I do.
The burglar was finally identified when the workers found a furry raccoon passed out in the bathroom just inches from the toilet. No one knows for sure if he was headed for the commode to lose his liquid lunch, but if he was,
He was gonna go sell Buicks.
yeah, it looked like he didn't quite make it.
That picture of him just laid out
Yeah.
between the sink and the toilet.
The little masked bandit was taken away by animal control, and once he'd sobered up, was released back into the wild. So, as you might have already guessed, this holiday story.
So wait,
Did you-
did he get a ticket or anything? Because
no charges were filed.
when that happened to me. I mean, wait, what?
And you know what? He was your spirit animal because if they noticed, the bottom shelf that did get hit with it was mostly whiskey.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
right,
what
right.
he was choosing, was the whiskey.
And even Saturday Night Live did a bit with this on Weekend Update this weekend.
Yes,
it was like
they did.
They had Drunk Raccoon on
Everyone-
there. Yeah,
yes, they sure
explaining.
did. They sure
explaining the
did.
whole
They did a
thing.
full Sarah Sherman did a
was-
bit in an outfit. It was
It
great.
was ridiculous. So, look, I respond to these things a little bit differently than most people. And as you might have already guessed, this particular holiday story has left me more than a little inspired. And of course, as you know, when I get inspired, I like to write a little poetry or prose. And now I know you're expecting another one of my infamous and dreaded poetic musings set to the rhyming rhythms of a limerick. But I have to say that I feel this situation calls for an even more respected type of poetry. And so I have composed a few verses here in the style of one of the most famous poems of all time, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Could I get a little holiday poetry reading music, please? And it goes a little something like this. "'Twas the season of Christmas, and all through the store were strewn bottles of whiskey, tequila, and more. From high up above, a lone ceiling tile dangled, while on the floor, a large bottle of Malort lay mangled. Other bottles were strewn. It had been quite a party. Someone here likes Glenlivet, Absolute, and Bacardi. Rhyming party and Bacardi seems quite lazy, that's true. But if rappers can do it, then why not me and you?
Yeah, exactly.
But hey, back to the store. 'Twas a group you'd have guessed that drank all this liquor and made all of this mess. But it turns out just one partygoer had gulped it. And when they opened the restroom, there they found the lone culprit. He was stretched out unconscious on the cold bathroom tile, just a furry masked bandit covered in his own bile. They could swear he exclaimed as they drove him away, "It was all going fine till that last Cavassier." So let this be a lesson if you plan to get ripped at a holiday party. Please at least mind this tip. Watch your alcohol intake. This advice is not odd. Or find yourself passed out inches from the raccoon porcelain god. Merry Christmas, everybody. Reporting live from the ABC store in Ashland,
Can I have
Virginia.
some more?
Reporting live from the ABC store in Ashland, Virginia, where I did make it to the bathroom in time, but I will leave you all with this holiday advice. Do not go in there. My name is Cruz, and that is your...
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. Honestly, I thought, it'll be bad enough that Terry knows the story because he's one of the ones that sent it to me. But by the time I got here to do the show, everybody seemed to know this story.
But the thing about it is that, no matter how many outlets, news outlets, there was not a story that was made more for drinking news than that. That was absolutely made for that
I don't care
segment.
what y'all say. Drunk raccoons are hilarious.
Yeah, and honestly, if you have not seen the photo,
yes.
you owe it
It's
to yourself
amazing.
to Google this and see the photo.
Yes.
Because the raccoon passed out on the floor with his arms and legs
Total sploot.
akimbo.
That's right, he is.
It's just
He's
I've
just
always
passed out.
I've always wanted to say the word akimbo on the show, and now I've been able to, and it even fit. I didn't have to bring it up
works.
in some weird
Well done,
way.
sir.
Yeah.
It actually worked. So listen. Terry, how much time
we
we got left? In?
3.
We got 3. I think we got time maybe to at least open the beer and start on it. So this is our final beer for the show today, and it is the LKuhnhenn Brewing Company 4D 2024.
Kuhnen, not to be confused with our
raccoon.
friend.
Yes, yeah. It's their 2024 Gingerbread Man Old Ale. They're out of Providence, Rhode Island, so I'm excited about tasting this. We'll definitely get to it in the next segment if we don't get to it here. But holiday gifts, I mean, it's the right time to buy your cigar smoking friends one of these PerfecDraw cigar tools. It's affordable.
This case, my favorite case.
And it's $18.
But I like that everything about it. If
seriously.
you had someone that was just starting out, you could just buy them one of everything, and they're ready to go.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And you're not broke.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
You can just grab them one of each and go, and they are good to start their journey.
So I was really excited, having already purchased a PerfecDraw cigar tool of my own. I was really excited when Rod sent us a care package, and I had to text you guys and go, "Did you get one of these?" Because if not, my holiday gift giving for Ian and Terry was totally taken care of. Like I was gonna okay, good. But honestly, you are not going to spend a lot of money if you want to get this stuff for yourself or for
surprisingly
your
affordable.
and I love that, and it's to me it seems like
the only things that are a little higher price, of course, are the things that are machined. Like
Right.
the cigar rest and punch, and then the perfect draw itself, and that's what $30.
Yeah,
and
that's
how
not
much
even
is a
bad.
cigar rest? Is that the same price, or
The
it might be 40?
smoke and stand, I think, as I remember, I think it's $39.95.
It is beautiful,
and
when I say
just
that
it's worth
machined,
it just to get that big punch.
machined out of aluminum. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all brushed and gorgeous.
And then
yeah.
how did you get these so sharp?
Yeah,
by the
that's
way?
a
This
good
is
question.
outrageous.
Well, if wherever you see it advertised, you'll see it. The tagline says it's all about the blades, and that's true. I mean, I'm a punch guy, and for years I just got so sick and tired of the punches destroying the cap.
Cracking
Yes,
the cap.
yeah. But you
Even
kind of
if they
like
start out sharp,
denting the
they
cigar.
didn't
Yeah,
stay sharp for long.
for sure.
So it took me 3.5 years to perfect the blades. So the
3.5
They're
way the
very
blades
thin.
is done. First of all, you have to figure out what metal you're going to use, and there's a lot of different costs involved.
Yeah.
And historically, the classic premium metal for blades is 440C stainless steel, and it can be heat hardened. The theoretic hardest it can be heat hardened is to a Rockwell number 60, and it's theoretical. And so I wanted to try and get it as close to a 60 as I could. That makes it more expensive because you have to heat harden it before you sharpen it. Now, once it's really hard, sharpening becomes a lot more difficult. And then the other thing is that the easiest way to create the sharp edge is to bevel around the outside. And
Which is the
then
wrong
it gets
direction, 'cause then it
flash, so you
pushes
have to
your-
bevel a little bit on the inside. So now when the sharp edge starts to penetrate the cap, that bevel going outward pushes
tobacco outward.
the cap, and you crack your cap. And so pretty much virtually all of the punches out there are done like that, where they have 20 degree and 20 degree, just like a chef's knife, so a 40 degree. I wanted to go the sushi blade route. Wanted to have no bevel on the outside whatsoever,
Right.
the only bevel on the inside, and that's at 18 degrees. So these blades overall have an 18 degree sharp edge, whereas the average punch has a 40 degree
Love it. Yeah.
sharp edge. And so with this, when you go in, since there's no bevel on the outside, as you go in, it doesn't push outward.
No, it only
whatsoever.
if it compresses any tobacco, it compresses it towards the middle, which is okay
keeps
because you're
the-
going to get rid of that.
Right, which keeps
Exactly.
the whole cap from
Exactly.
cracking. Yeah.
And
Love
then
it.
the other thing was the thickness. The thicker the blade is, the more you have to push and force it into the cigar. So these blades are exactly the thickness of 2 sheets of copy paper.
Wow. Wow.
And
that is so cool. Now I know we got to take a break, but this is why this is worth every penny, because this isn't just another punch that you're going to use for a little while until it gets dull after about a month and then discard. This is something that's going to stay with you for a while. And again, if you like Gordo-sized cigars or like some of these nubs or other ones, this is the
Anything
right
60
size.
or
Yeah.
above.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're floating down the river cigar. So, all right, we got to take a break. We will be back for the final segment. We'll talk about this last beer, which is the 2024 LKuhnhenn Brewing Company Gingerbread Man, the Old Ale. And I got to talk a little bit more about this Penderyn, because this is freaking delicious. This is amazing. More, please. We'll be right back. It's Smoking a Toast. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars, and a lot about hand-rolled cigar accessories today because we're so excited to have...
Beautiful hand-rolled cigar accessories.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And thank you for what I want to call your dedication to the craft, like for actually really caring about how this stuff works and producing stuff that isn't outrageously expensive, but is well tailored to the job that it's supposed to do.
Also, for anybody buying presents for me, just because I have one of everything he makes doesn't mean I don't want another one of everything he makes to keep in my car or my trailer or something.
That's right. It's an ever-expanding repertoire. I like that. So we only have a little time. I want to make sure we get to this beer because this beer really interested me because it has a particularly demented gingerbread man on the bottle label. Oh. And anytime you see kind of like that kind of crazy, you're like, this is either going to be horrible or it's going to be really good.
Yeah, it's not an evil-looking ginger man. It's psychotically happy looking.
Yeah, that's right. He's psychotically happy. And so I was wondering, did this old ale make you psychotically happy? When you
it's
tried
psychotically happy. And it has a jug in its hand, so it's been
that
drinking its way to that
little brown jug vibe going on. So this is fascinating because often the last beer that we do on the show will be like a stout or a barley wine, and it'll be that
LKuhnhenn barrel aged.
This is totally different.
Fourth generation old ale gingerbread.
Hits around the middle of the palate, and it's super boozy. Yeah.
So this special gingerbread man is 4th D, is aged for over a year. The ale has an assertive aged oak character, intense sweet caramel malt flavor, ginger, vanilla, some toffee, toasted marshmallow-like character. So ginger is the thing I was trying to figure out on my palate. It's so weird to have ginger in beer, and I know you're thinking, but what about ginger beer? All right,
that's not
I
beer.
get it, but that's different. It's so weird to have a ginger flavor in something like an old ale, and it's very interesting. It brightens it up substantially.
I am not a big fan of ginger, but I do really like this. It is, as you said, bright, and it's got most of the time our final beer on the show is not bright. This is definitely bright.
So an old ale is in character a lot of times not too far from a barley wine, although generally a little less sweet. And this is definitely that. But then there's that ginger kick that it has, and a little bit of almost a citrus kind of note going on. So it's very strange, but it's delicious.
It's odd but delicious. Yes,
and then
absolutely.
the marshmallowy thing is like in the retro hill. It's a very strange beer.
I just real quickly, because I didn't want to let 2 weeks go by without doing the best whiskeys for gifting, but I do want to thank our guest today, who's been just absolutely a treat. This has been such fun to have the creator of the PerfecDraw cigar tool, Mr. Rod Kurthy, or Dr. Rod Kurthy, I should say, on. And we love your product. We're going to be giving them for gifts for Christmas this year, and we'll be hoping to get them for gifts.
And it's theperfectsmoke.com. Perfect with just a C, correct?
Perfect with just the C,
So theperfectsmoke.com.
It's a place to find them, and I'm guessing you may still have time to get those delivered before the blessed day. So there you go. If you're thinking of giving whiskey for a holiday gift, let me direct you towards an article by Food and Wine. And just in case we run out of time, you can find this on Food and Wine, the best whiskeys for gifting. And this is according to bartending experts. We're pressed for time, so I'm just going to read you the name of the whiskey, and we'll keep going. Michter's 10-year
for it
made the list. Baumberger's Declaration. Are you familiar
Never
with
heard
this?
of it.
Yeah, I don't know this one either, so that was a surprise. Hakashu 18-year. I've seen this. This is a Japanese whiskey. I've never sampled it. How about Widow Jane, the Vaults?
Have seen it. Haven't tried the Vaults one.
I am intrigued just by the name. I like the name a lot. Suntory Ardre.
I'm a fan of the Suntory stuff.
Lafrague Cardeas.
Oh, gorgeous.
How do you say it?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Cairdeas.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Like gorgeous, but Lafrague. Jacob's Pardon Small Batch Recipe number 3.
Don't know it at all.
Love the name. I got to try this. So those were some of the gift-giving suggestions from Food and Wine.
So I'm sorry that I didn't give you one of those. I can go ahead and take this one back if you'd like.
You know, I'm going to stay with this rather than what's behind the door where Carol Merrill is now standing. This is the Colonel E.H. Taylor small batch that Ian gave me. It's a bottled in bond, and I'm not even going to speculate. It's going to be great, and so I'm really glad that I got you the gift that I got you because. I didn't bring it in today, but I will.
Yes. Thanks
on the
for the
next show.
Michelob Zero.
Yeah,
Ultra
Michelob Ultra Zero. It's a really perfect trade-off for this. So I'm pretty excited. So I just want to say, we talk about a lot of stuff here on the show. We've talked about cigars and cigar accessories, but honestly, Rod Kurthy, who invented the PerfecDraw cigar tool, this is my absolute favorite cigar accessory of all time, and it's because it has rescued so many cigars for me. I have a tendency not to always buy the most expensive cigars. I try to look for inexpensive ones that I think will still have great flavor, and so sometimes that means I'm buying like a Grey Cliff or something like that, and it's a little
I also
it's a little
just
little
want to
tough
give
draw.
cheers to a man who has figured out the best way to poke a hole in a cigar and the best way to plug that hole.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So tell us the website again where people can find your products.
It is theperfectsmoke.com.
And that's
again,
without a T.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And I just encourage you, if you're buying gifts for me, start there. That's always a great place to start. Ian, I asked you, and I appreciate the whiskey, but if you remember, I asked you for a humidor for Christmas this year. It's the one that's in that Porsche.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Porsche Panamera.
So I don't have a problem getting you the humidor. It's the humidor support system that's a little tougher.
No, you can't get it on its own. You have to buy the whole package.
You have to buy the whole Porsche to get it.
So, Dr. Rod Kurthy, inventor of the PerfecDraw cigar tool, thank you for being on the program. We love your products, not just the cigar tool, but all of them. They're all fantastic, and we're better off as cigar fans for discovering them. So thank you very much for being on the program. Be sure and check him out. Perfect Smoke. Perfect Smoke. PEREFEC Smoke.com is the place to find him. Plus, if you see his products in your favorite mom and pop cigar store, they're hard to miss and they're wonderful.
Dude, just pick it up, put it in your hand. You will immediately be like, I should have
love it. Have a great week. Happy holidays, everybody. And until we meet again, cheers, y'all.
Holidays.
This Penderyn is amazing.
It's fantastic.
There I go, I've been told.